We want to welcome everyone to the January monthly virtual luncheon. I hope that's the last time I get to say January and virtual together. We better be praying for that. But anyhow, this is the January luncheon of the Covington Business Council. If we've not met yet, I'm CBC Executive Director Pat Frew. We first of all want to thank our sponsors today. First, our title sponsor, returning for 2021, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. St. Elizabeth Healthcare operates 6 facilities and more than 160 primary care and specialty office locations throughout the Northern Kentucky, Southeastern Indiana, and Greater Cincinnati region. Sponsored by the Diocese of Covington and a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, St. Elizabeth is a mission-based organization committed to improving the health of the communities that they serve. You may not have realized this, but St. Elizabeth provides more than $100 million in uncompensated care and benefit to the community each year. So thank you again, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Our monthly sponsor today is First Financial Bank, which later this year is set to open its Covington location at the former Fabulous First showroom site at 6th and Madison. More on that in a moment. But First Financial was founded in 1863 in Cincinnati. It's a mid-sized bank with a full executive management channel located in our communities. First Financial prides itself in delivering our community financial expertise through a flat organizational chart that allows for a superior customer experience. And Northern Kentucky Market President Jacob Holbrook is here to give us a brief update on the new Covington branch that is opening later this year. Jacob, tell us about it.
Hi, Pat. Can you hear me?
Yes, hearing you great. Tell us about this new branch that's opening.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I probably should give you a new picture. That was me probably 15 years ago. And so I've aged considerably since then, but more about First Financial and our location that we're opening. We've had tremendous success over the last couple of years. The community has really responded to our brand and our bankers in the community. And we started a long-term strategy to grow our market share in Northern Kentucky about 3 years ago. And as a response, we really wanted to build out a Northern Kentucky headquarters. It's more of an innovation lab. And we got 10,000 square feet. We bought that from the Sawyers Group, and just want to thank them for being such a great partner in our exploration of buying this building. And we're moving forward with our long-term vision here in Covington. And we really want to thank the city, Work Architect, which is our architect that is helping us revitalize this site. And then the many general contractors that really bid on this project. Ultimately, we picked Ashley Builders. And so no pressure on Ashley Builders, but we're looking to open this site in the summer. So we're looking third quarter. And at some point, we'll probably do a hard hat tour, maybe in the spring. So as you can flip through these slides here, we can show you that we're doing a complete remodel of the building. That's the exterior view of the building. It's really going to brighten up that curb, and it'll go well with the revitalization that's going on that corner with the YMCA building. If you flip to the next site, this is the second floor of the building. Just happens to be the next slide here, but what we're going to do is open up the first and second floor to the community. We're going to have a very small staple of a branch. It's really going to be community space. So we're going to look for partners out in the community to really activate this site. This second floor will be a conference room. So there'll be some large digital displays. And then it will be able to be this door right here that you can see out in the middle of the diagram will be a smaller conference room as well. So we'll have 2 conference rooms in essence on this floor. And as you can see, we opened up the stairwell going into the first floor. So if you could flip to the next slide. This is the first floor, and this is the size of our branch. You know, we'll have 1 or 2 personal bankers that will man the teller line. Teller lines are kind of a thing of the past, but we'll still have access for a teller line so folks can do, you know, cash transactions at the branch as well. If you can flip to the next slide. this is the first floor, kind of the front to back view of the floor. As you can see, the stairwells opened up, and this will be, you know, coffee bar, community space for programming. We plan to do entrepreneurial fireside chats here and all things Kentucky. And you can flip to the next slide. And I think that's it. That's the update.
Well, great. Well, Jacob, thank you for sharing that. And it'll be a great addition along the Madison Avenue corridor. So we sure appreciate that and your support of the program today. So
All right,
also want to thank our CBC board members on the call today, including our new board chair, Tom Tilmas of Republic Bank. Our board and the CBC is advocating for you. This past week, the CBC sent a one-page white paper to the Northern Kentucky Legislative Caucus outlining the need for attention and financial support for projects specific to Covington and more of the urban core. Things like the new 4th Street Bridge in Covington and Newport, a transportation study to review the impact and needs of economic growth in the two cities, a reopening of this issue of funding for the Brent Spence Bridge. We'll hear a little bit more about that next month with our February luncheon speaker, along with the support of equitable small business support for businesses led by people of color, women, LGBTQ, and all that, as well as support for recovery-based service programs helping individuals formerly in the prison system become productive members of society. So just wanted to inform you about that. You'll also see that we've had a strong increase in new members in the CBC the past few months with our new half-off first-year dues discount for for-profit companies. I wanted to welcome these new companies listed on the slide. If you haven't taken advantage of this offer and you're checking out the CBC for the first time, talk to me or Christine, our operations manager. Speaking of which, many of you have asked about our plans for programs this year in light of COVID, and CBC operations manager Christine Barth is here to talk about our lineup of events for 2021. Christine?
Hi, how is everyone? I wanted to give an update because I think it's the question of the year. When are we going to be in person again? So just a quick little update. We do have all of our luncheons for next year are scheduled. Our presenting sponsor is St. Elizabeth Healthcare. So of course, we always love to give them a big thank you and a lovely shout out. We love the folks there at St. E. So we are really hoping for springtime to be able to be back in person. No promises. Obviously, it's going to depend on the virus and what's going on with it. But we did want to assure you that as soon as we can possibly be in person, we will be. I don't know who wants it more, us or our members. We're all pretty much over this virtual thing. But we are doing our best to still keep everybody engaged. We have a lot of things that are still on our calendar. So I really just want to encourage you to still try to come to things. I know there is Zoom fatigue, but we want to keep you connected and we want everybody to still know each other and talk to each other. So we're doing our best to still plan programs. You can see some on the screen right now. Table Talk is something new that we implemented. It's just a small group of people that get together and have a conversation. Basically, we have a local expert on whatever the topic is, but then it gives us a chance to just chat and get to know one another. It is virtual, obviously, which is nice because we're not able to see each other anymore. So we still want to be able to communicate. You can see some of our other events that we have planned, our new member orientation. Our golf outing is scheduled for May 13th at Twin Oaks. New this year, we're actually going to do a golf social in September. As most of you know, our outing last year was in September and it was absolutely perfect. So we thought we would add another a golf event for the end of the year. Our nonprofit lunch and learns are always very interesting. And then this year, we're hoping to do a combined annual dinner and holiday party. So look for more information on that. And again, if you have any other ideas or anything else about events, please reach out to me and I would love your input. I will turn it back over to Pat now.
Great. Christine. And, one of the things we did mention on an upcoming event is our next new member orientation. So if you're a new member or considering membership, even prospective members are welcome to this. That will be a week from today at the same exact time. So talk to Christine and I afterwards about that. There are a number of good ways to engage CBC Connects. We've been averaging 24 people every week. So if you haven't checked that out on one of our Wednesday morning sessions from 9 to 10, please do that. So people still are connecting, people are doing business, and we definitely want you to continue to take advantage of these opportunities until we can gather in person again, which is hopefully sooner as opposed to later. So now onto our program. Our speaker is a man with whom you're well familiar with his monthly growth reports at CBC events. City of Covington Economic Development Director Tom West has had a tremendous impact on our city since he assumed his role, I think about 3 years ago. Tom, you can correct me on that. But in case you didn't realize this, Tom's department provides information, financial incentives, and technical resources to new and existing businesses. Tom and his department are generally the first people I encourage new business owners or prospective business owners. Those are the people that you need to talk to, I tell them. The department's mission is to encourage reinvestment and economic growth to retain and facilitate expansion of existing businesses, also to promote entrepreneurship and to attract new businesses by fostering a positive business environment, much like the CBC, which provides access, opportunity, and growth to fulfill its mission of advocating for a healthy business climate. The Economic Development Department's ultimate goal is increasing the tax base, which it's done well, even during the pandemic. You may have heard Tom a couple of months ago talking about the fact that 2,100 additional jobs and more than $85 million in private investment occurred in this city in 2020. Tom is here to talk about the city's revised economic development strategy, unveiled a little more than a year ago, and he has some friends with him representing the kinds of businesses Covington is trying to attract. So without further ado, Tom West.
Great, thank you. Christine, can you flip that slide off so that everybody can see the panel members? Okay, and I will introduce folks, and if you all want to flip your screens on and kind of wave to people as I do. The first one, flip your cameras on. There you go. So the first one, Bill Whitlow, he started behind the bar at age 16. Hopefully the time has passed now where he could get in trouble for that. Later on in life, he went to work for Goodfellas Pizzeria, and he started their Wise Guy Lounge, which was kind of their beverage arm. And he really developed that concept and took it to 4 different cities. He's won tons of bartending awards. And then he and his wife, what we really want to have him kind of focus a little bit on today, he and his wife opened Rich's Proper Food and Drink back in 2018. Since they opened that, he's won Best Mint Julep in Kentucky, Top 100 Bourbon Bars in America, was added to the Beeline. And his place is highly regarded for their superior Southern fare, which is often copied but never duplicated. I want to point out also that even during the pandemic, Bill, being the entrepreneur that he is, was able to open yet another concept in Covington. So if you're down at Covington Yard at 4th and Greenup, Hangry Omar's is one of Bill's other concepts. He has been using his time during the pandemic to also develop some other concepts, which he promises he's going to reveal to us at some point this year, hopefully. Bill is here to represent the Experiencing Covington sector, which is the sector of businesses in Covington that include hospitality, retail, restaurants, entertainment, and that sector. The next sector is A Healthier You, which includes biotech and healthcare focused businesses. And here representing that sector today is Tony Remington. Tony's a proven healthcare industry leader focused on value-based medical solutions. He currently serves as the CEO and chairman for Gravity Diagnostics. And I know that's a name that probably everybody is very, very familiar with. They're a state-of-the-art CLIA laboratory in Covington. I remember early in the days of the pandemic when the governor had Tony down to Frankfurt and talked about what a great partner Gravity was going to be during the pandemic for their testing. And Tony has proved the governor right. They've been a tremendous partner. They do testing in areas of COVID-19, upper respiratory toxicology. This word that Tony, it's going to kill me to try to pronounce, but you can correct me here. Pharmacogenomics. I know I messed that up. The next one is sexually transmitted infections. I know I pronounced that right. But Gravity's processed over 1.5 million COVID-19 samples during the pandemic. They've got over 750 customers now. And they've grown really from a very small operation on Innovation Alley to where they're now in actually 3 different locations in Covington. And I'm sure Tony will probably talk a little bit about that, but he serves Fortune 500 companies all over the world. The next person that I want to introduce is Erin Eimer. She represents the Made in the Cov sector, which is our small and micro manufacturing sector of businesses in Covington. Erin wants to create an environment that allows employee skills to shine because as a business owner, you're only as good as the talent that you've assembled. So Road ID, which is her company, their culture and passion are key elements to success. And ensuring those elements is a top priority for their leadership there. Erin is a co-owner and the operations manager at Road ID. Now, this is a family business that was founded by her father and brother, and she claims that they were born entrepreneurs and that she did everything she could to try to avoid that. But I think we can all see from where she is right now that her attempts to avoid that did not work because she now finds herself deep into the culture of Road ID. So she joined the company back in 2006. So one of the things that's I think really cool about Road ID, they make the ID, I guess, tags and bracelets that often help people when they can't help themselves. I know injured joggers and cyclists and often find the help they need by having a Road ID bracelet. And it's almost daily that they hear from their customers about how Road ID has improved outcome of what would otherwise be a really bad situation, and in some cases has literally saved people's lives. So we're very proud to have them in Covington as well. And then finally, the fourth sector is all things office, and it is exactly what it sounds. We've discovered that with our view of downtown Cincinnati, our cool vibe on the streets, the restaurants, like Rich's, and the other folks working at Gravity and Road ID and the other companies that call Covington home, we've created an environment here where people want to go to work. So I'm happy to introduce our newest corporate tenant, who they actually haven't moved here yet. So I would be prepared in May, if you introduce yourself to John Wickham, he may ask if you've got a pickup truck and a strong back. So we're expecting them to move in here in late spring and early summer. He is the Senior Vice President of Protective Life. Those of you who pay attention to the news saw recently where they announced that they were bringing their firm to the towers at River Center. John's responsible for new business operations and planning for Protective's retirement and protection divisions. John's also the site leader for Protective's local office and led the team that helped select their new home here in Covington. So we are eternally grateful to John for making the correct decision for his firm. He's got over 20 years of experience in the insurance industry, but actually began his career as an engineer with GE after he graduated from Boston University in Massachusetts, where he grew up. He moved to Cincinnati almost 5 years ago with his wife and 2 boys, and they're all very happy to call the tri-state area home. And we're very delighted that he will be coming to work every day in the Cov starting this summer. So just I've introduced the folks, I've introduced the sectors. These sectors were derived from the 2018, or I'm sorry, May of 2019 citywide economic development strategy that the City Commission adopted at that time. You all will remember Jay Garner was our consultant out of Atlanta that worked with us on that, and it is a citywide strategy. And in that, he identified those 4 target sectors. You all have heard way enough from me. So at this point, what I want to do is I've got a couple of questions here I want to ask the panel. If others have questions that they want to ask, if you could submit those, I guess in the chat feature is what we want to use, Pat. And then Pat can ask those questions at the end. But I want to start off by asking you all one at a time, if you all could go through, and maybe we'll just go in the order in which I introduced everybody. The first question is, why did you choose Covington for your place of business? If you could talk about 1 or 2 things that really make the community the right location for your business to succeed, and why you made that decision. Bill, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Thanks, Tom. Everybody, I'm Bill. Covington, I love Covington. So I moved here in 2012, and I completely did not know what to expect. Moved here, like you said, with Goodfellas Pizzeria, and I just thought Covington was another stepping stone because I've moved around and done restaurants in Florida and Louisville, Lexington, and I fully expected to move out of Covington within a year or 2. But I realized Covington's this massive community, and people have moved here from all over and moved around down from Cincinnati, things like that, and developed a true community feel. When I do restaurants, I try to make them feel like they are in the community, whether it's a chain or not. And Rich's, we really wanted to be part of a community. So living right down the street, and I live in Main Strasse, so it was kind of perfect for us. And we found the location, and I knew I could walk to work 3 blocks. It was kind of almost kismet or perfect. I love the way the area is developing, and we saw the way it was moving with Hotel Covington, with Braxton, and when the space that we're in at 7th and Madison opened up, we realized even if we couldn't build a following right away, we would be in between, you know, Hotel Covington, Madison Event Center, Madison Theater, Braxton, a number of anchors and event spaces all around us. Luckily, we were able to build up a following before all those places got shut down back in March, and we've had that kind of sector hasn't been as strong for us. It's not so much the tourism right now, but luckily that community that we talked about has been extremely supportive of the restaurant, doing tons of takeout. So that's kind of the real way we want it, was just that community effect of Covington and what it's built up and what it's continuing to build and drive. Lastly, it's the kind of the easy to work with part of Covington. With previous companies I was with, Goodfellas, everything, I've worked with different cities. An example, Louisville, love Louisville, but anytime you needed an answer on something, it was 2 weeks. If you needed to change a little something, it was 2 weeks. When we were working on Rich's and something would come up and we needed a last minute permit, Covington was very helpful. Sometimes, hey, next day permit, you need this, what's happening. It's just very easy to work with, as opposed to being a block for business. Covington's been very inviting for business. And there's some cities where I just don't understand why they make it so hard for small businesses to start.
Great. Now that we know that we've got a little more time, we'll get back to you next week. Tony, what about you? I know that you have really grown your business here, both in terms of number of employees and what you're actually contributing to the planet.
No, thank you. Thanks everyone for having us. We continue to have a very humble, appreciative approach to, what we've been through the last 12 months. First I got to just tell John, I grew up in Gloucester, Massachusetts. So, and I went to Bentley in BC, so we should catch up at some point. Kind of strange that we're both here, right? But, Tom, what I would say to, kind of your question is, we kind of ended up in Covington really because we found a really good business opportunity. So, what I think is really powerful about our story is that we 5 years later have, quadrupled or tenfold, doubled down, whatever the term is, on staying in Covington. So we ended up coming here about 5 years ago because of a unique opportunity to acquire a lab, the assets of a laboratory. I didn't know much about Covington. I grew up in New England. I live in Florida. Well, I used to I don't know where I live anymore, but I'm sitting in the Duveneck. So I have an apartment in the Duveneck building now. So, but the point being, once we got here, I just had some visitors in this week, and just the most authentic, organic approach. The people, I kind of call it the Midwest meets the South. There's this amazing pay it forward attitude. Where I grew up, I grew up in Gloucester, Mass, really small family, everyone knew everyone. And I feel like Covington has that feel, not only on a personal level, like Bill mentioned, but really at a business level. I mean, we came here, we were a startup, we didn't know anybody. And, Chuck Shepard at Bexion took us under his wing. Tim Schroeder, who's now on our board, met us when it didn't make sense to meet us. He's got he's in 60 countries with 1,000 employees, and took the time to meet with me and Julie Brazeau, my partner. So when we really didn't matter to anybody, everyone treated us with respect. And we just love that kind of, blue collar kind of feel to the city and kind of the realness of it. So about 2 years ago, we knew we had to grow or expand. And we kind of looked around other parts of Kentucky. We did go over the river and look in Ohio a little bit. And we just came back around and we're like, we're going to stay in Covington. This is where we want to be. We do a lot of addiction medicine treatment, testing before the pandemic. And we felt like it was a real vibe here to be a part of that solution and try to help people that are most in need. So that's kind of, what really created this foundation of loving it here and wanting to stay here. And then just so everyone knows what that really means, we had about 35 people here full-time, about 100 people nationwide, but only about 35 in Covington. We now have probably 500 people working in Covington. We've gone from 5,000 square feet to over 50,000 square feet. We, have over 400 parking spots anywhere we can find them. And so we've got office space now in River Center in the CTI building. We still have our space at 632 Russell, and we're building out about 40,000 square feet, probably more when it's done on 812 Russell. So it's been, it's kind of just this family feel of caring about each other. And I'll make sure more people go to Rich's, but I can tell you, our employees need a place to eat lunch. We've been doing, food trucks on Fridays. And, a great example, what Bill mentioned is we were running out of bathroom space as it was getting colder. And, I kind of went to Tom and I'm like, we might get one of those wedding porta, restroom, things that you get to, they're heated and they're really nice, and he really worked hard with us to get that set up. We needed plumbing and electricity and all that stuff. So I like the nimble feel of Covington, and I like the family feel of it. And, the last thing I'd say, I've never done a call like this with the local group, so I don't know what the expertise and feel is on the call. And I got one text, so I know one person on the call. But we've had real good success recruiting talent in Covington. So one of the biggest concerns when the pandemic was really taking off in a bad way was, could we find enough scientists to do the 30,000 samples a day, 7 days a week that we wanted to do. And we've hired over 80 4-year or greater biology science type major employees. So we've had a really good success and, with doing that. So, just would encourage everyone on the call. I think you can do it here. And my joke to the previous government, they came a couple of years ago and I said, we're going to bring Boston and San Francisco to Covington. And, that was one of my quotes. So I think we proved that can happen. So I appreciate the time. I'm glad you included me and look forward to doing more of this and helping out any way I can.
Great. Thanks, Tony. So next up, we got Aaron. Can you talk to us about, I know you guys were out in the burbs, I believe, and then redid the Johnson Moving and Storage Building. And can you talk a little bit about why you chose to do that?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. We were out in an industrial park in 2017 out in Erlanger. And while that facility met our needs, we didn't really have a good sense of community. We had been conducting business next to another company for years, but really didn't know any of their faces or any of their names. And it didn't really give our team a chance to connect. So we decided that we should look for a new home. We wanted to know our neighbors. We wanted to support other local businesses. We wanted to be able to recruit talent and maintain that in an urban setting. We also wanted to be able to give back to a community where we knew we were having an impact. So when we found our home, that H. Johnson Moving and Storage Building is right behind me here. When we found our home there, Covington was great in that they walked alongside of us while our whole mission and vision sort of evolved. And not only did Covington do that, but Covington partners did that as well. So they are connected in a lot of different ways with other businesses that really take an interest in bringing that vision to reality. So we were able to rehab this 1940s thing. And in doing that, once we got settled in, we were able to bring Libby's restaurant in underneath of it just to help support communities and another local startup, which really felt great. We were able to get involved in some of the outreach programs that Covington offers to help keep the city clean, been involved in the beer mile, just fun things that we can't wait to get back into when it's safe to do so. But after we rehabbed that building, we decided to dive back into the deep end, and the building that we're sitting in now, we have made our new home in, and it's been really great, except that a lot of people are working from home, so we can't wait to get our team back together. So we knew that Covington was the place for us because we are a Kentucky company, and we didn't want to leave the Northern Kentucky area. And Covington felt like the right community for us, and has been just really great working, as everybody has mentioned, easy to get along with the city and other partners, and everybody really has your best interest in mind when trying to support you.
Great, thanks, Erin. It's great to hear all these incredible things about working with the city, and I swear I did not select these people or ask them to say any of that. So it's good to actually hear that unprompted, but you all don't need to focus on that. I mean, we've got thick skin. So the next up is John. John, why did Protective decide to make this their new home?
Yeah, I thought I'd give a little context, and we will be the new kids on the block here shortly. So it's great to hear how things are going with those of you who are already there. For us, a little context, because there was actually a bigger decision behind even our decision to come to Covington. You know, going through COVID, we as a company, we're national, made a decision that, you know, we're going to probably have about a third of our people virtual, and then the other 2/3 in a site, because we wanted both. You know, the flexibility to hire talent virtually, but we know a lot of culture, training, collaboration needs to happen in sites. So that's why we wanted office space. But we had about a dozen different places across the country, and we also made the decision we're going to get that down to 3, and landed on the tri-state area as one of those 3 places we wanted to do it. Now, it just so happened our lease since downtown Cincinnati was up at the same time last year, or this year, and so we had to find a spot and look around. And, you know, when we drew the circle, we included Northern Kentucky. And as we got deeper into our looking at it, we really ended up making that decision to come to Covington, which was an even bigger deal, because not only is it our new site, but it's actually one of our new corporate hubs that needed to represent that as we came over. So, you know, why did we choose Covington? A few reasons, kind of location, talent, and economics. The location that we chose at the River Center Towers we see as like a mini campus, which is really what we need, because we've got kind of a fitness center and restaurants right in the building, but we've got hotels connected to it because we actually intend to bring a lot of people in internally and externally, plus a convention center down the road. Gives us a lot of flexibility to be really efficient with our people's time as we work in that community. We were also looking for some green space somehow, somewhere, you know, in between the patios the River Center has and then the new Riverwalk being built out front. That's like an added benefit we felt really good about for our employees. And then you take all that, and, you know, safety is a big deal for us as well. And I think Covington versus where we were in downtown Cincinnati measured up better. And in particular with that, we could get parking right below the building or a block away is really safe for our people. So, you know, the River Center Towers made a lot of sense. Talent was our other big thing. We had to know that we could get the talent. We recruit a lot of sales and marketing people. That's what we have today. But as we go forward into the future and grow, because we're looking to double, we have about 100 people today. We'll go to at least a couple hundred over the next few years. Operations, finance, IT, even actuarial, because we're in insurance, which I won't bore you with at the moment. But you know, we felt comfortable that we could find that kind of talent around this area, in particular with the programs that both the city and state have in place and have been really great about reaching out to us about. And then I'd say last but not least is economics. Obviously a big decision to come over and invest, even though we're leasing. And through Triad, I think the coordination between the state, county, and the city, that they could come up with programs that were win-wins for us bringing in new employees and what that would do for the tax base and helping us figure out how we might offset some of our operating costs, all went together to say, yeah, this was the right place for us.
Great, thanks, John. And while you're up there, we'll go in reverse order on the second question, because some of what you started to touch on there is a little bit into what my second question is. And although you guys aren't here yet, we do know that you have a growth plan. So in order to achieve that plan and hopefully to surpass what you guys have projected, what do you need from the community? And by the community, I don't just mean city government, although you can include requests in there of how city government could help you achieve those growth goals, but also business to business or talent development, talent attraction. What are those things that you all are going to be looking for outside of the walls of Protective that you need to help you grow?
Yeah. So I think as we think further out, you know, we'll start where I ended. Like talent is definitely one area. So we tend to hire a lot of college grads for some of our newer jobs coming in, and so I think deeper apprenticeships and internships and programs with universities and colleges is something that we want to do, as well as dig into, like I said, the local and state programs where we can kind of see the talent pools that we can pull in. You know, other things I was thinking about is, you know, you think 5 years in the future, you know, people are going to travel more. We think that's going to come back, and so anything that the city can do to make sure that the congestion or lack thereof stays that way or it gets facilitated, I think is going to help us. You know, and that goes to like the point of drawing more people to even wanting to live in downtown Covington. Like what I'm learning is you're creating a great space that more people will want to live down there. And so as it gets more crowded in a good way, let's just make sure it stays conducive to doing business. One thing I'll mention we think about is employee wellness. So employee wellness programs are, you know, things that we'd love to keep our employees healthy, like everybody probably does. So, you know, if there are local programs that we can do and take advantage of, we certainly do things at a corporate level, but those are things that we have a pretty big interest in overall.
Great, thanks. And I was making notes here of things that we want to try to focus on to help you guys. So next up, we're going to reverse order now, is Aaron. What can the community, both city or and other private sector folks do to help make sure that Road ID continues to grow in the community?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what John said. We want Covington and the surrounding area to be a place where people want to work, live, and play. That will just increase our ability to recruit and retain talent. So if that continues to evolve, that will make that employee base really great. I think while we manufacture a product, we are at our core a marketing company. So we are looking to partner with other marketing types of companies locally. Iron sharpens iron. So if we could connect with companies that are in the local area, we've already done some of that through partnerships, but just recruiting those businesses that just enhance not only the area, but also can be service oriented, maybe to other companies that are here as well. And we're a little bit unique. Our space has a dock access. So we get pickup and deliveries every single day. I know that streets around here tend to get a little narrow. So if we're looking at infrastructure, it would be nice to make sure that the streets are accessible for larger vehicles. There's a lot of low bridges in the area that we work around. So just making sure that people can get deliveries and pickups are really great. And that we obviously address parking as an ongoing issue as we bring more people to the city.
Great, thanks, Aaron. I'm sorry, it takes me a minute to unmute there, and I'm coming to you from the Levasseur Park Annex of City Hall. My neighborhood, we've got noisy dogs that like to walk during lunchtime. So next up will be Tony. How can the community come together to help Gravity grow over the next 5 years? We don't want to have another pandemic to help you grow.
Yeah,
so
no.
what can we do otherwise?
You know, I would just reinforce, I think everyone on the panel shared a ton of positive energy about why this is a great place to be. If you're asking me to try to dig deep on what I'd like to see better, I think Aaron, I would echo a little bit of what she said. Ironically, I feel like we have and again, with the pandemic and hours changing and governor mandates, you know, for example, with Bill, some of the hours of restaurants being opening has been kind of hard to predict, you know. So that might be part of the magnification of this topic, but hiring this many people, I mean, we literally, you know, it might be 400, or I know we have over 500 people. I don't know exactly how many are in Covington, but it's a big number. I feel like there's an opportunity for a luncheon, you know, some sort of movement. There's not a lot of lunch choices that are priced, you know, kind of right, that are kind of efficient from a in and out perspective. You know, I mean, you have Jimmy John's, you have the deli here on the corner. I don't know. I'm hoping they made it, but like I said, it's hard to know right now who's closed intentionally and who's closed, you know, and coming back and, you know, that type of thing. But I think we have a great vibe for the nighttime in terms of dinner and beverages and that type of thing. But for the team here to just kind of walk over and grab lunch, I feel like if you go towards where Goodfellas is, there's a good little group of restaurants over there. But I've actually thought about, I might talk to Bill about it. I've thought about, do we, you know, co-sponsor building like a deli or something, because our employees alone could probably keep that deli pretty busy. And then I think you guys are doing a great job at working on parking. I know about the garage. We've talked about it. I think there is there's a lot of parking in various places, but I think to really synergize and get it right, we do need a central, you know, a garage of some sort. And you know, quite frankly, I don't like the look of a garage. So, you know, I'm not a big fan of that part of it, but I think we probably need some sort of additional parking. And then Tom, you've been great about helping us out with this, but you know, the infrastructure Aaron mentioned, I mean, the sidewalks and lighting, and, you know, I'm committed to the historic vibe here. I'm committed to, you know, making this a place for all walks of life, all income levels, all types of people. But there is a little bit of a night safety kind of, we've hired a couple, you know, the Securitas cars at night and in the morning, because our team's here at 4 a.m. and leaving at 1 at night. There have been a couple moments of, you know, employee safety being at risk type thing. So nothing's ever happened. You know, there's never been any incident, but I think if you're looking to invest over here a little bit, lighting and kind of a little more, you know, I guess lighting would be helpful. I don't know exactly how you do that, but.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Okay. And next we'll move on to Bill.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, going forward the next couple of years, there's I had a few notes that I liked on that. One, Covington, like I said, has done good on. I basically would like to see just keep doing what it's doing. It's getting new business down here. Gravity's grown here. Road ID, Predictive Life. You know, it's bringing more industry, which helps us. You know, restaurants can run in a couple different kind of veins. I like to use Walt's Hitching Post as an example. Like, they're the kind of really destination. They have plenty of parking. You know, that's not a foot traffic kind of place, but they do great business and they do a great job. I prefer to be in kind of high volume, centralized areas, which is what kind of the center of Covington is. So bringing in those companies, that brings lunch business to me, that brings night business to me, that brings their people coming in to stay at Hotel Covington, that brings all sorts of walks of life in. And that's what we really thrive off of. So continuing to bring in those sorts of businesses and expand the base. We've got all the different residential, the John R. Green, River House, Duveneck, whatever they're doing down at the old City Hall, all kinds of things like that. So that's really helpful for us. For staff and talent purposes, semi-affordable housing, the pricing of housing in the central core of Covington is skyrocketing very fast, which is great for bringing in young professionals that are going to be our primary base. But in the surrounding areas, semi-affordable housing. It's been great working, like this city has partnerships with like Meet NKY, CBC, I've never worked with in a city where there are so many opportunities to reach out with programs that are partnered in with the city. So that's been really helpful for us. So continuing to do that. There's volunteer groups that help like keep the area clean. I mean, the streets are always pretty good and pretty clean, but Covington is still kind of growing into itself, I believe, in the central core and kind of growing back up and really getting back to that image. I mean, we keep a picture of where we were at in 1957. It was kind of the hubbub of traffic down on on Madison. And I know it kind of fell away from that for a while, and now it's getting back. And hopefully after the pandemic, they'll be back to being that foot traffic. OTR is kind of the example for like trendy in our region. And people were, summer of 2019, it started to look like OTR in our area. It was great, foot traffic everywhere. And that just, with that comes more cleaning the streets and, litter and trash pickup and things like that.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. The one thing that we don't have that OTR has is a sugar daddy that pays for all of that, programs all of that, tells what restaurants they can open where, what their interiors look like, what their menus are going to have on them. And I'm not really sure we want that. One of the great things about Covington, I really think, is our authenticity. And whether that means that, like, Aaron was talking about low hanging overpasses, that's part of it, but it's part of the authentic environment that we're living in narrower streets. And, maybe it just makes for a little extra entertainment when a truck tries to go through one of those and it turns into a giant can opener. I don't know, but I think your point is right. And as we try to move forward with city services in light of all the development that's going on, one of the things that and why it is so important, I believe, that we can continue to attract new businesses and help those existing businesses that are here grow, is that we don't get any sales tax. The city doesn't. All that goes to the state. The vast majority of the city's budget is made up of payroll taxes. So it's important when John's company moves here, Tony continues to grow, Aaron's company continues to grow, because those funds then enable us to keep the streets clean, to be able to put in new sidewalks when those are needed. And so that's why we do what we do. And again, to also help try to drive up the property values. For those of you who are investing in property, that's very important to you, but that's also important to talent development, because it's property taxes that really fund the schools in Kentucky, between that and the state. So all of this runs in a cycle, in that we have to attract you guys to come here, engage you in the community, so that we can then feed the systems that are going to deliver the talent that you need and the customers that you all need to be successful. So it's kind of on a loop. And I've made this comment I think to every one of you at some point, and said, we're here to help wherever we can as far as city government goes. But if helping you means getting the hell out of the way, just let us know that, because we can do that. We can do that too. And we won't take 2 weeks to get back to you to tell you we'll do that. So at this point, I want to express my appreciation to all four of you for being on the panel. And I want to turn it back over to Pat to ask any questions that we may have received from the audience.
Yes, and we have a couple of them, Tom. And the first one kind of relates a little bit to what Bill was talking about before. With all the growth, a lot of times something that can be, if not forgotten or neglected, or I don't know what the right verb is there, but the first question from KA is, how do these new initiatives correlate to helping low-income families in Covington and or related to improvement in funds to Covington and the independent school system? So I don't know where we direct that, but.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on that a little bit, or I think what I just talked about kind of touched on it a little bit. But one of the things I would say is that we constantly have partnerships formed with our public workforce system through Grow NKY, that's part of the chamber, and then also the Kentucky Career Center, which is their physical location is on Madison Avenue. We had a meeting with them last week. One of the things, and John just saw this in his development agreement with the city, for the incentives that the city is providing to that company, we're asking them to make a good faith effort to try to hire Covingtonians whenever possible for those jobs that they're going to be growing here. Now, as a company, we can't require them to do that, and they need to hire the best talent possible for them to be profitable. So what we're working on right now with our workforce system is, how do we find out from John's company the type of talent he's going to need in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then communicate those requirements to the workforce system, and then have the workforce system recruit Covingtonians to be trained so that they are qualified for those jobs. So that is one way I think that we're trying to address that from the education standpoint. Do others have things they want to chime in on that one?
Okay, let me tackle a second question here. And there was some comment to this about things the city can do better. Some concerns about parking, isolated concerns about safety in the overnight hours, a little bit about sidewalks and different things like that, and affordable housing and growing the residential base down here. But the question from Nancy is, what does Covington not have that you feel would help you recruit and retain talent? I don't know from the business's standpoint, and anybody can raise their hand here from our four panelists. Is there anything else that the city could do, or the business community could do to help you to recruit and retain talent? John?
This is John. I'll do a brief. We haven't started. Well, actually, we have hired our first Kentucky person that'll go to our new site. But I'd say the biggest thing for us has been just getting visibility to the pipeline of talent that's available, right? And what Tom was referring to is, like, we have processes set up to be able to take people in and evaluate, but if we don't know that they're there, you can't see them. So for us, at least at this stage, it's just making sure we can see what the pools of talent are for the different types of roles that we can do. And so, the city and state, like, making that kind of vividly clear to us is the best thing that they can do to help us do what we do.
I'll just add that we actually have posted a couple of roles recently, one for customer service supervisor and then for a production line. And both of those opportunities have really elicited a lot of local individuals. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that for a customer service supervisor, that their resumes were great and they were 2 blocks away. So I think out of the 10 applications that we got in 24 hours, I would say 5 of them were local, and really local, like they lived inside the Cincinnati city limit, or Covington city limit. So we're excited about that. And we're also able to take care of our production line as well. So we're kind of at opposite ends of spectrums as far as the jobs that we're looking to fill. But we've been really pleased with the talent that is applied.
Talent's not been, I don't know if that's really a city thing when it comes in the restaurant industry. It's more about, we can attract more talent when there's more people coming to the restaurant. The city's done great with us working on outdoor seating, especially in the pandemic, being able to open more space. We do our big derby party and things. What I do like, and I hope that doesn't change, that helps us bring customer base down is like meters go 9 to 5 here. Yeah, it's not Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5, people can park there at night. That's something Cincinnati took away. And when I used to run a Goodfellas over in OTR, people complained about it a lot. So I really like that that's stayed that way. And I'm not sure if there's plans on changing that, but that's been pretty important to us.
I think that's it for the questions right now, Tom. If you wanted to, I didn't know if you wanted to ask our panelists any parting thoughts or.
Well,
Hey,
Tony's back now. Tony's
Yeah,
back.
sorry.
Great, Tony.
I'm undercover as Tom West now, but I apologize. I literally haven't moved the whole time.
I would move away from the window right now, Tony, if you're going to have that name on there.
I have actually, all kidding aside, I have an interview at 1 and I need to run over there so I don't start off on the wrong foot. But I did want to just say to the whole group on the call, we have an amazing group of talent as it relates to the pandemic. St. Elizabeth's Healthcare has done an amazing job partnering with them, and also CTI and all the research they're doing. And, every other health professional in this area has just crushed it. I just want to, say if there's any business owner or any business out there that needs some sort of rapid testing, PCR testing, we're open 7 days a week, and we're doing courier and drop off. And so I'd humbly say we're really, really busy. So this is not, a chance to solicit, business. I'm being sincere that if, you have, even a restaurant with 4 employees or something like that, we have to be careful ethically because we have a lot of government contracts. So, I do my best though to do it at as low as possible or as free as possible, I'd say, if there's a unique situation that we can help out. So just keep that in mind. We have a couple things going on right now where people are coming today to get tested because, someone wouldn't test a 3-year-old or, just little things like that. We'd love to help you any way we can. And our claim to fame this whole time has been putting the people most in need first, the ICUs, the nursing homes. So that's really what I'm saying here. I mean, if there's a more corporate opportunity, John, to test your employees worldwide or something, we'd have a more formal discussion. But if it's just trying to help out a friend or, someone going on vacation that needs a test or something, feel free to reach out to Gravity. And hopefully this thing gets better sooner than later.
Yeah, great, Tony. We appreciate all you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
You
Tom.
too. Okay, Tom, anything else to take us home here on the end, or? Oh, we can't hear you now. Whatever's going on at Gravity Diagnostic, you've caught it, Tom. Okay, well, we are on the 1 o'clock hour, so if you all don't mind, we are gonna wrap up here. I want to thank Tom again, as well, Tony, Aaron, Bill, and John. Thank you all so much. Next month at our February luncheon, we'll hear from Mark Polisinski of OKI, the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council, which develops strategies for roads and infrastructure in our region and also holds the purse strings to more than $40 million in project funding. We are going to be talking a little bit about the Brent Spence Bridge with the closing of the bridge in the fourth quarter last year, how that might impact moving talks forward on getting a new bridge built. And also Mark wants to talk about a lot of the innovative changes that you'll see in the next 10 years in transportation in general. You won't want to miss it. So thanks again to our title sponsor, St. Elizabeth Healthcare, and our luncheon sponsor, First Financial Bank. Thank you for taking the time to attend today. Enjoy the weekend. And we hope to see you online next month, if not sooner. Have a great day. This meeting is adjourned.